The communications minister for the Democratic Republic of Congo says that peace will unlock positive momentum throughout Africa. The country has been in the spotlight since it signed a peace agreement with Rwanda in June. Many are hoping it will unlock further growth after 3 decades of war. The DRC is located, well, just look, it's in the middle of Africa, has immense mineral resources. Everybody wants a bit of it. Unfortunately, in many cases, they're already taking it by force. President Trump has often taken credit for the peace agreement between the DRC and Rwanda off the eastern coast, off the eastern border, I should say.
I ended 7 wars, and in all cases, they were raging with countless thousands of people being killed. The Congo and Rwanda, a vicious, violent war that was. No president or prime minister, and for that matter, no other country has ever done anything close to that. And I did it in just 7 months.
Now, the minister, Patrick Mayawa, tells me he welcomes President Trump's involvement. Still, he says there's more to be done. The minister says the rebel group M23 is continuing to cause great violence, and he's accusing Rwanda of using M23 as a proxy. So, when you take the fact that there is still fighting, is the peace deal just a fiction?
Peace will come, because peace cannot come just because you sign. There is a lot of things we need to do in the ground. That's why it's required, and that's what we've been seeing with the American administration, an involvement to make sure what we put in the paper, each part will respect that. We are doing our part, and I'm not sure Rwanda is delivering the way it should deliver. It's not just because you have the process around Americans, but there is a process in Doha with Qatari where Rwanda is not playing his role with his puppet to make sure they are respecting what they have to do in according to get the peace we want.
The United States, the US president, is transactional. Quid pro quo. Therefore, the price for greater involvement in the DRC is likely to be greater access to your extremely valuable rare earth minerals, which everybody wants to get hold of. Now, we know China is already a major partner of yours.
You know, in DRC there is place for every country, China, United States, because the country is huge and there is a lot of potential. What we've been seeing with the President Trump is not only, as you said, a transactional deal, no. First, I think he's working to bring back peace, to make sure children can get to school, to make sure women won't be raped. But at the same time, we have a strategic partnership with the United States for years now, and in between, we are talking about not only about mineral resources, we are talking about energy, we are talking about environment, we are talking about infrastructure, because the DRC, and I will finish there, is one of the most important countries in the world, not only because we have all those strategic minerals, because of our position in the middle of Africa with 9 neighbors, and we have the Lobito Corridor project, which is funded by Americans, which is a very good example of what we can do for us and for Africa.
Finally, I wanted to come back to this idea of the eastern part of the country. People like myself who've covered Africa for decades get weary with the wars that never seem to end. The corruption that gets a bit better but never really gets much better in terms of, I'm not talking about your country per se, I'm talking about, collectively. I wonder at what point does Africa gain its potential? Does it rise? Africa, the phrase Africa rising, it's been rising so long, you'd have thought it would have risen by now.
You know, Africa is the youth of the world, because you have these youth, human resources first, we have those mineral resources. When you have to look at the situation in DRC, or the potential in DRC, it's very huge. Just a small reminder, in 1942, when Manhattan Project started, the uranium used for Little Boy came from DRC, came from Chikolembe. And I don't need to remember you what happened 100 years ago with the King Leopold of Belgium, because he was like the king we've been using DRC as for economic reason, and you remember rubber, etc. The country has the full potential. But what we need first, actually, is peace. And if we want to achieve peace in that region, we should make sure we stop Rwandan activities. Because after the genocide in 1994, since that period, Rwanda started creating proxies. M23 is a proxy, is a movement under sanction of United States administration. Even the leader with a puppet, one of the most corrupted guy. So today what we want the most is to see that the two processes, Washington and Doha, give us the result. So once we achieve the objective of peace in that region, I can tell you, we can bet that not only DRC will start the way, consolidate his way for the development under the President Tshisekedi leadership, but the whole part of Africa, this part of Africa, will at the same time move in good way. That's why peace is critical.